Hey guys, so today we have this. What this is unfortunately a pooched Briggs & Stratton Quattro 4-horse engine. Apparently a little critter decided to move in underneath the blower housing and make a little nest there, unbeknownst to the previous owner, and so when they ran it, it overheated, and next thing you know, it was squirting its oil all over the place and promptly died. Now I've pulled it over, the whole engine rotates quite freely, so there's no compression. So I have, interestingly enough, that was interesting. While I was out the other day, I happened to come upon this one, sitting at the side of the curb. Interestingly enough about it, I believe this is the same engine. If not, I do have this guy too. Yeah, I found not just these two, I also found this one too. 3 different engines. Interestingly enough, this one, a Powermore, no surprise. Look, it's missing the rope. Oh gee, it's a Powermore. Of course it's missing the rope. Since this was an overheat situation, before we go and pull the head off this and go and put a different engine on it, I want to pull the head open, put a different head on, put a different engine on here. I want to pull the head because I wonder if it's just simply the head gasket that popped on this thing, because it still has oil inside. It actually has a good healthy amount of oil. So since it didn't lose oil pressure, well, I guess technically it would have lost oil pressure because the engine was no longer spinning properly, but since it didn't technically run out of oil, everything in here should still be good. It also means that I have a good crankshaft, because I did have the other one that had a bent crank just in case this block is toast. When we pop the head, then hey, I have a good crank. Oh wait, this is a 4-horse and that was a 3.5. Never mind, scrap that. This becomes a spare, but it doesn't matter. I do have a spare engine that I can plop on this from a rusted body. Anyway, I digress, and I'm rambling. So yeah, so I guess before we go any further, let's pop this head and check the condition of it. Maybe it's something really, really simple and the head gasket's gone poof, and that's why it has no compression. All right guys, let's crack into this beast. All right, so first things first, I'm wondering if this head gasket's just blown, and that's the issue. Because I don't see oil underneath it. I just see oil that's been leaking out just around the exhaust area. That's all I see. So I'm thinking it's just the head gasket's blown out, and that's where all the compression went. So my kid and I, we pulled this over a couple times just to see what's going on, and yeah, there's zero compression. We checked the valves. Valves are fine. They're moving, so maybe one of them is burnt. That's always a possibility. That's always a possibility. Or the head gasket blew out, because this did overheat apparently. That's what I was told, because of a mouse critter, which that's fine. So we'll pop open the top. We'll take a look. Let's see. Okay. So it looks like there's some screws missing. So normally you take this off so you can get access to the screws. You know what? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Now it pulls off the whole dipstick. But there's oil in it. There's plenty of oil actually. Hitting something. Probably that. The foot of the motorcycle. So as you can see, there's no compression. I can turn it pretty freely by hand. Absolutely no compression. But I'm pretty sure that the piston's moving up and down. So there's no blown rods. There's plenty of oil, so I know there's no catastrophic failure inside that I can really think of. So let's face it, there's still oil, so it hasn't burned up the crankshaft. I'm thinking it's just a blown head gasket. Let me get the pressure washer, clean all this debris off, and then we can crack the head and have a look. Yeah, I would definitely say there was definitely a critter living under here. Looks like a mouse. I don't think that was a squirrel. It was definitely a mouse. Maybe a chipmunk. Chipmunk is plausible. Chipmunk is plausible, but most likely just mice. Well, I guess I'll keep the nozzle away from there. Okay, we'll use the spinner rounder thingy nozzle. Guess it helps if I turn the water on. Okay, here we go. See the spinner rounder thing? See? It spins around. There, now hopefully I didn't get any kind of water intrusion into the engine. I don't think so, but you never know. It is plausible. Could have splashed up. But that does a really good job of getting the gunk off there, doesn't it? Oh, oops. Sorry about that, got a little water on the lens. Okay, so I'm going to give it about an hour to let it dry off. Then we'll start cracking into that head. Okay, so let's pull this head. Let's see if we have a bad head gasket or not. We got a 1/2 inch. That was loose. 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 Not very tight. Not very tight. Not very tight. Not tight at all. Very loose. I wonder if that's where we're losing our compression. Seeing a lot of oil on that bolt. Pretty sure 100% head gasket let go. Oh, some hardware missing. Good thing I've got some extra hardware. Yeah, that's a lot of oil. Ooh. Oof, look at all that oil. Ah, there's our compression problem right here. Look at that. There's where the compression went. Zero clearance at the very least, zero clearance. So we're gonna fix that, and that should fix the problem.
You sure about that?
So it's not so much that it overheated. We got zero clearance on the head. So, or at least on the valve, on the exhaust valve. So that's why all the oil went out there. So when it overheated, wow, the valve wasn't closed all the way, and I guess some oil got passed because this thing is over full of oil. I guess it, or at least it was. It isn't anymore. And because that valve isn't closed, it went right outside of the exhaust. Perfect. Okay, so I'm not going to have to change the engine. I'm just going to have to redo that valve. Sweet. Right, so let me get that valve out and get a new head gasket. Good thing I have new ones of those. But yeah, let me get that valve out and we'll see about, I guess, reseeding it, grinding it down, whatever it is that needs to be done so we can get it at the proper clearance. Or maybe it is at the proper clearance and it's just needs to be reseeded. If that's the case, then that'll be even easier. So, all right, let's do it. Hey, look at that, guys. Look what I found. A red subscribe button. If you made it this far into the video, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, give it a thumbs up. Comment below. I love to read your comments, and I try to reply to as many of them as I can, especially the early ones. All right, guys, back to the video. Okay, so let's open this valve cover. 2 5/16, and it looks like that's not a 5/16, and it looks like it's a 1/4 inch anyway, so it's not 5/16. So 2 1/4 inch. I guess that gets rid of this tin entirely. That's fine. Let's move this tin out of the way. And this one down here. Ooh, a little bit of oil in there. Valve cover looks good, at least the gasket anyway. So both of these are closed. So the intake should be between, I think it's 5 and 7, and the exhaust is 7 and 9. So let's see. Let's try 6 on the intake. No problem. No problem. So that's likely between 6 and 7. Yeah, so let's try 8. A little loose. The intake is a little loose. Try 9. And 9 up. Let's see. Not partially open. Okay, let's try that again. 9. Yep. 9. Let's try 10. Ten fits. Huh. Boy, that's pretty open. All right. Next one. Let's go 11. Yeah, 11. What, am I doing this wrong? That's crazy. 12 does not fit. So that's set at about 11 thou. Boy, that's quite open. But that's not what would cause a loss of compression. So let's see, now the exhaust, we're gonna start at 5 thou. Nothing, that doesn't fit. All right, let's try for the big number. Let's go all the way down to 1.5 thou. That's the smallest one I got. Yeah, it doesn't fit. Found our problem. You can't get compression if your valve's not sealing. So let's grind this down a little bit. Let's take it out, grind it down a little bit, and that should solve our problem. And let's see if I can compress the spring enough to get that exhaust valve out. First time doing a Briggs. Now that spring's not all bound up. Oops, well, I guess that gasket's shot. Awesome. I know this would be easier with a valve spring compressor, but unfortunately I don't actually have one. So I'm gonna have to struggle with this for a few. There we go, I think I got it. Hey. Don't quote me on it. Nope, I didn't. Oh, I did. Actually, I did get it. Aha! Yes. Thank goodness. It's sticking a little. Here it comes. Well, it just wasn't making a seal. So it wasn't really making a seal, but I don't think it's warped. Yeah, it looks fine to me. It's not warped. Pretty sure it's straight. Doesn't look. Yeah, so just gonna clean this up. We'll grind down the tip, I guess, about 7 thousandths, 8 thousandths, around there. So that's gonna be fun. Get to try my new mini grinder for the first time on this. Haha, that's what I got it for, was these valves. So, all right, give me a few. Let me grind that down. I'm gonna see if I can set up a camera in there, so hopefully I can show you a grinding down, and then we'll come back here, we'll test it out and see what goes on. All right, see you shortly. Okay, so I'm just gonna spray a bit of WD-40 onto this little Scotch-Brite pad. Let's brighten this up a little bit, shall we? That came out pretty good so far. I'm going to try out this mini grinder for the first time. At least for what I bought it for. Okay, so let's go try it out now. A little bit of lubrication, put it in. I know, it's not a lubricant. Okay, so let's check the clearance now. I'll try 3 thou. See if we have at least 3 thou. Actually, maybe I should take out the, let's take out the spring, just to make it a little bit easier. There we go. Now the spring's out. Take out the retainer, the keeper. Let's see, do we have 3 thou clearance? Nope. Do we have one foul clearance yet, at least? I hope so. There's 1.5. No, we don't even have 1.5 yet. So that's top dead. And yeah. Oh, no. Nope. Almost though. Almost have it. So I'm going to keep going. Okay, so we've got 1.5. Do we have 2? We have 2. All right, let's try a bigger jump. Do we have 5? We have 5. Okay. Do we have 6? Yes. Good amount of drag on 6. Okay, lastly is, do we have 7? Barely. I can barely get it through. So let's try that one more time. I'll try it 6. 6 does go through, but I have to really push. So I'm going to go all the way down to 5 again. This is the bottom end of the range. It's a little tight, so I'm just going to take a little bit more off. Not a lot, just a little bit more. And then we'll take out the intake valve, clean it up. We'll relap them both in and get this thing back together. And this thing should be running. Last time, this should be it. Should be all she wrote. Should be ready to go. Let's go right to the money. 7 thou of an. Wow, it's quite a bit of drag. That's perfect. That is perfect. After a bit of lapping in, should be excellent. Should be excellent. Anyway, so I'm going to stop the video here for now. I'm going to take the other valve out, clean it all up, and then I'm going to restart the video when this is all ready to get put back together, and I'm going to need a new gasket. That's another thing that needs to be done. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. So the head cleaned up nice. It's out at the top of the head. I guess the block cleaned up. I put it through the ultrasonic as well to try to get some of the grime out, and it did an okay job. Then I hit it with the Ziz wheel and cleaned it up, and then a little bit in the wire brush where the Ziz wheel couldn't get it. Did the best I could. The intake cleaned up really nice, shiny. Oh, and I made up a new valve cover gasket. Hopefully it's close enough to the original. Intake valve. Let's lap in these valves. Yeah, that should work. we go. Come on now, none of this silliness. Make sure you get this stuff off, because if you don't, it'll lap the valves into oblivion. That's what you're looking for. That nice little line all the way around. So we'll set the intake valve aside for now. Now let's work on the exhaust valve. Okay, it's going to need a little bit more lapping. I don't quite have a line yet. Almost. I'm going to give it a little bit more in here. But it's actually not too bad. It took a little bit, but we do have a nice line all the way around. So let me clean this up. Okay, I'm going to struggle getting in the exhaust valve. There's the spring. I gotta get this retainer in there. Oh, how I wish I had a proper spring compressor. It would make this job easier, I think. Okay, this will either work or it won't. So far it doesn't.
1 week later.
Ha! Got it. Opens, closes, bump. There, top of compression. Right, so before I struggle with the intake, let's make sure Everything's still okay. So let's go with 6 thou. Oh, I really hope everything's fine. 6 thou. That's why. Wrong stroke. Now 6 thou. Let's see, let's try 5. 5 sort of fit. So I guess I'm going to have to pull it out and regrind it down a bit. Yeah. It's 4 thou. 4 thou fits fine. Well, 6 thou fits with the struggle. Let's see, let's try 5 once more. Yeah, 5 fits. I guess I'm going to have to pop it back out and grind it down a couple more times. All right, let me turn the cameras off and get the valves back in and everything. And then when that's all done, I'll turn the cameras back on. I'll see you soon. Okay, so I've got them all in. It's all taken care of. And if I go to 7 thou, got a good drag on 7 thou. Remember, it's supposed to be 7 and 9. Good drag on 7. I've got the engine at top dead. And then 8. 8 goes through. And finally, last but not least, is 9. Just kind of sort of force it, but it does go through. So lash on that, I would say, is set to between 7 and 8, which is perfect. It's right where it's supposed to be. The intake, well, the intake was fine. So now let's get this valve cover back on. That way we can clean this mower up again. What a mess. So that 1/4 inch. And this one had the wire on here. Oops. Like this. Oops. There. Now we got the exhaust back on. It kind of fell off and then leaked oil all over the place. So when this thing runs, I'm confident it's going to run. I'm confident. So what do you think, guys? Should I just reuse the old head gasket and check for compression? See if we get compression. If we do, take it off, quickly clean it up. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to quickly check to see if we get compression, because I think that's really important. Like, what's the point of going any further if we don't have compression, right? So let's reuse the old head gasket just to test for compression. So let me just quickly time lapse through that. I'm just going to tighten it down by hand, nothing special. We're going to check it. Then it's going to come back off. We'll clean up the head if it needs to be, and we'll put a new head gasket on, you know, properly. All right, let me speed through this. Okay, so they're basically, quote unquote, torqued down, so to speak. I'm going to get my compression tester we'll put the rope back on and we'll give it a try and see what happens. Hopefully we get compression. I'm gonna grab my drill and we'll give this a try. So what do you reckon, guys? Think we're gonna have compression? You think she'll run? I know it's got oil. Certainly feels like it's got compression. And I'm not reading any. Well, I'll try cranking down a little bit on those the head bolts again. See if they're just not quite tight enough. Okay. Right, so let's try it again. Let's see. It does feel pretty easy to turn over. Well, I'll try it again. But if not, we'll swap the engine. I was really hoping. Yeah, again, very, very, very little compression. I don't have a leak down tester, so I can't see where it's leaking out per se, unfortunately. Right, so I guess that might be all she wrote for this little engine. That's too bad. That's really too bad. Ooh, 9mm. Oh well, it was a worthwhile attempt, but this engine clearly has seen more than just a small failures. I'll pull this engine, I'll get the other one ready, and get it ready to install on here. So the next time you see this, the next time you see this base, we'll be putting the new engine on. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Okay, so a slight change in plans. So there's been an unforeseen change of event. I put a new head gasket and I found out that the PCV was right open. So how did I know about the head gasket? Was definitely shot, because I closed the head up and I got my faithful assistant, he is near, to start helping me crank it over with a drill. It started pissing fuel all out the bottom. And I'm like, oh, it needs a new head gasket. Put that on, fuel stopped. It started to sort of build compression, but the PCV tube was loose as heck. So 2 1/4-inch bolts on the top and fix that issue. So then we decided, all right, let's be stupid and see if I feed it fuel, will it run? Well, let's see. All right. Faithful assistant, let's see. Ready?
Might sound crazy, but I think it started.
I think we got a runner, guys. I think we've definitely got a runner. Ha! Not bad for a $10 mower. All right, I guess we should reassemble the engine. I think it came out pretty good. I think it came out looking really good. Okay, so let's get the exhaust on first. Now we'll get the intake and everything else on. Okay, next let's get the fuel tank and carburetor on. Now the spacer with the tin, oops, sticking to the magnet of course. Get off the magnet. And the bolt. Looks like the governor is going to control the throttle just fine. 3/8 bolt. I guess this one's 7/16. Yes, you can also use 11mm. Don't expect it to look perfect after reassembly. Now the 1/2 inch here. Now let's get the head tin on and the main cover. Okay, so let's get this top tin on. Drop this down. Oops, there we go. And I'm going to turn the engine over a bit there, just to get the magnet out of the way. There. Perfect. First bolt. 7/16. You can also use an 11mm. They're the same size. There's the first bolt. Get the second one in. There we go. Come on. Yeah. And finally, the last one. there we go. Okay, so that part of the engine's all put back together. Governor looks like it's going to work perfect on this. Next, let's get the engine shroud on. Oh wait, I have to clean up the oil dipstick tube and get that assembled. So take out the oil tube or the oil dipstick and I'll be right back. So we just got to attach that. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have the screws that fit in there because this didn't actually come with them, all free floating. So I'm going to get my tap and die set and see if I can make some new holes. Okay, I've got this guy. It's 1/4 inch. I'm going to try seeing if he'll start. Okay, that goes in nice. Right. Fortunately, I don't have a second one. I was kind of hoping I would have a second one somewhere. I have these. I could use these, but I think they're a little long. They might hit the flywheel, so I'd have to cut them down. But I think that might work. So let's see if that'll go in. Don't need metal filings going into the oil. Yep, that'll go in. Perfect. Let's get that oil dipstick tube on so there's no risk of metal filings getting in there when I do the other hole. I wonder. Maybe these 5/16 will fit now. That would be nice. They might fit. Yep, it fits now. Haha, perfect. That's what I wanted. Now, let's try that again with less drama. I know they're not red. I forgot. I actually forgot about those. All right, I didn't open that one. And now we get the engine shroud on. And because I actually have one, there's the part number. That is a brand new Briggs & Stratton fuel cap. There we go. Fuel cap's on. And the air filter. And there we go, guys. The engine's all reassembled, painted. Now, it's not the best painting job because I didn't take it completely apart and blast it with and all. I just basically made it look nice. That's pretty much it. Repainted the exhaust, sprayed the entire engine, after I blasted it off with the pressure washer. Repainted this bracket, fuel tank, and the air cover, as well as the carburetor with a brand new primer bulb. Now, before I put gas in here, I want to make sure that this engine's going to run. I don't want to go and put it all together and then try to pull it over with the rope and it doesn't do anything. It just, because yes, we did see it running. We saw it running by spraying carb directly, or we saw it running by spraying carb sauce directly into the throat. And sure, we started it up with a drill. No problem. It ran that way. And as long as I fed it fuel, it ran. So, I mean, in all honesty, I don't see why this won't run, but I want to make sure that I can start it with the rope first. Then we'll add fuel and we'll see how it goes. The problem is too, I don't have a blade yet for this. I've got one not yet on order. I'm going to put a brand new 21-inch blade. This is for a 22-inch cut. So I need to get a brand new blade. So I'm going to put a 21-inch cut on it so we can start it easy. But I already know I'm going to have to replace that blade. Not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But there it is, guys. She's all set and ready to go. Now, to get to the body. That's going to be the fun part, because this is the lawnmower that you guys picked the color for. So, what color is it? Let's go see. Okay guys, so pink wins. Let's see. Fluorescent pink. I think we got a winner, guys. Which one? I think I'm gonna have to go with the Barbie. Yeah, definitely going with the Barbie. Barbie wins, guys. Barbie wins. All right, let's go pay for this. Well, there it is, guys. Look at it in its glory. You guys picked it. You picked pink. And so there it is, the pink mower. Now you've seen the engine. Let's see how they look together. There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. It could be worse. It could be better. Notice there's also a pink spark plug. Yeah, I couldn't help myself. I had to give it that pink spark plug. Pink. It's not a reflection. It's actually not a reflection. It's actually a pink spark plug. So I'm just going to quickly tighten it down. Then after we tighten it down, we'll put the blade on. The best thing is, not only did you guys pick the color of this mower, but we also hit 1,000 subscribers. We actually did it, guys. We made it to 1,000. That's amazing. So the next thing we got to do, let's get to 10,000 subs. We definitely got to get to 10,000. This is awesome. It's going in nice and easy. Look at that. That's all the way in. Now the last one. Good. Jack stand. There. And I believe the bolts on this should be 1/2 inch. So let's see, do I have a 1/2 inch socket on me? I should. So I got 13, but I don't think it's a 13. Pretty sure it's 1/2 inch. Well, $13 actually fits perfect. So let's see. Here's a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch fits even better. 1/2 inch it is. Start with the back one. The other back one. And now the front one. And there we go. The engine's now secured. Awesome. I'll try to pull it over. Oh, right. That's going to be hard because the engine brake's not attached. Okay, so let me get a cable for the engine brake. Be right back. Well, I hope this one works. I don't think it will though, which kind of sucks. So I think instead, I'm just going to disable it somehow. There, I think that should be disabled. Just enough that I can slowly pull it over. Yep. Cool. Make sure I still have oil. Still have oil? I don't know. Nope. Let's add some oil. We'll just add some black testing oil. Not too much. Oops. Made a mess. Because of course I did. Well, that's a little bit much. Already making a mess of this mower. Perfect. There's enough in for testing. Okay, so we'll add a little bit of fuel and start it up. Hopefully it starts. That should be plenty. Now, hopefully everything works out. See, does it prime? It primes. Now, will it run? Right, we gotta put the blade on. So let's get that blade on and then we'll try it out. So pink side down, that's the side that says grass side. This should either be 9/16 or 5/8. So we'll see 5/8. It's 5/8. So we'll put this to maximum. Let's put it on, which is number 3. And we'll put it on. There we go. Now I'll take off these bungees so they don't get all wrapped up. Just to keep the wheels from turning so it wouldn't have fallen down before, but now I don't need them. I'll put the mower down, and I guess we'll give her a whirl. Hopefully it starts. Let's give it another prime. And hopefully, yeah, it starts. Let's see. Oops. Try that again. Without the drama. Nothing. Nothing. I wonder why it's getting nothing. It's like there's a leak somewhere. It's almost as if there's no compression, like the engine's blown. That's sad, because we did have it running. We really did. Huh. That is unfortunate. I was really hoping that it would have fired up on its first try. I mean, it was running. You saw that. I mean, this little clip right here. It's running, but I don't understand why it doesn't want to run now. That's too bad. That really is too bad, because I know it's priming. I can hear it priming. I can feel it priming. Let's try it again. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing doing. Huh. Let's put an inline spark tester. And let's see, does it spark? Plenty of spark, but no ignition. I wonder if the engine's just completely toast. If it really is just that simple. But why did we get it to run? I mean, sure, I spun it up with the drill. Maybe that's what I gotta do. I gotta start it with the drill first. We'll start it with a drill. Oops. Those 3/8, right? They're not 7/16. Oh, they are 7/16. 1, 2. Oops. Can't be doing that. Take off those 5/16. There. We'll try it again with the drill. But it feels like there's no compression anymore. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, it feels like there's no compression. Sounds like there is. Okay. So let's try it with the drill. Well, it picked something up. Oops. What did it pick up? Another bungee cord? Nope. A rope. Nice. Oopsies. Huh. Picked up the rope. Whoops. Okay. So, we'll try that again. But you can see it does run. I don't understand why it runs only using the drill. That's not a good sign. She won't get up to speed, and it won't continue to run. Let's try it again anyway. Let's let it on for a few. Wow. She's really smoking off. But we can't let her run too long like that because the engine doesn't cool, right? She gets too hot. Definitely smoking off quite a bit though. Which makes me wonder, can we start it now using the pull? I wonder. Then we can let it run longer with the shroud on. In fact, we can just let it run until it basically runs out of gas if we wanted, because it shouldn't overheat. Whoops, that was dumb. So what the heck? What do you think, guys? Do you think pulling it over will get it to start? I don't think so. Like, it would be really great if it did, but I don't think it's going to. Call me crazy, but I really don't think it's going to. I mean, you can call me crazy anyway. It's not a big deal if you want to call me crazy. Don't call me crazy. Couple squirts, and nothing. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. She's a big nothing burger. I think this engine's done. What do you think, guys? Give me some ideas. Something to do with this engine, because I don't know. Try it one more time. What the heck, right? think I'm gonna have to call it here, guys. I don't know what else could be wrong. I mean, I don't think it's timing. Timing seems fine. I mean, technically it did run, but it's not doing anything now. I can't get it to start by pulling it, so I think that's it. That's all she wrote for this. And I mean, it was choking, or not choking, but yeah, we adjusted the valves, changed the head gasket, and then it fired up, but only using the drill. It only runs starting with the drill. So we can't do that. I'm gonna have to get a different engine for this, which is really unfortunate. I was hoping to save that engine, but it is what it is. Maybe you guys have a different idea on the engine. Maybe you have an idea of why it's doing that. Maybe not. Maybe you guys are just telling me, nope, the engine's likely dead. Probably a worn ring, maybe two. I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say. So I'm gonna call it here, guys, because that's it. But yeah, pink mower. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It really doesn't look bad. Just needs a better engine. Maybe a Tecumseh. I do have one that I can pop on there. Stay tuned for that. We'll do an engine swap. That's what we'll do. Next video involving this, we'll do an engine swap. I do have a Tecumseh engine I can drop on there, and I think it'll be a good match. Tecumseh on a pink mower. Definitely will be a good match. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Well, that's it for this one. Tried. I really did. I wanted this thing to go. I really did want it to go, but just nothing. Nothing. No matter how hard I try, just it will not go. It'll only run if you spin it up with the drill. I wonder if that's enough to overcome any kind of loss in compression. And then with, well, I mean, you see that's spitting out oil everywhere. So I have a feeling that the oil control ring or the compression ring, maybe both, are toast on this. So just something I'm gonna have to figure out, I guess. Let me know down below. What should I look for? You know what though? I think this engine might be a good donor for a crank, because I have another Briggs that has a bent crankshaft, and this one's good, except something's up with the piston. That might be maybe this should be just an engine teardown after, and figure out what went wrong, and maybe do an engine rebuild and try it on another mower. Maybe if I get this thing going, we should plop it on the Cursed Murray. Yeah, I still have that stupid mower here. Right. I'd say spark plug off for safety, but you know how it is. It's not like this mower is going to start anytime soon. So I guess spark plug off for prosperity. See you in the next one, guys. Okay, guys, so a little bit of bonus footage before I fully condemn this. You see, what I was thinking was that perhaps it's just the rings. The rings are failing. And if that's the case, then that would explain why I was seeing fuel vapors coming out the intake when I removed the air filter. And another way we can test it is I'll pull the oil dipstick, and I'll try pulling it over, and I'm gonna see if it's puffing air. Because if it's puffing air, 100% we've got blow-by on the rings. I'm almost positive we do, because as it was running, I don't know if you noticed, but there was oil underneath the muffler, and that tells me that oil's actually getting into the cylinder and being pushed out of the engine. And this, sure, was this engine always flat? No, it wasn't. Could a little bit of oil have gotten in to the muffler? Sure, but I really don't think it would have been quite that much that it should have still been. I mean, sure, it was puffing smoke like crazy, but the smoke never went away. And while it was running, I noticed more and more oil coming down onto the engine, or onto the deck itself. It was a whole bunch just coming down here. I don't know if I can. There we go, get the exhaust off. Doesn't seem to be any oil in there. Yeah, definitely smells like oil and gasoline. So I think there's definitely been oil getting in. Put this back on. Let's get a thumbnail at least. Maybe one more from over here. What I'm thinking in part 2, I'm gonna have to do a part 2 for sure. I'm gonna pull that engine and I'm gonna plop that one on. Well, I can just take this whole intake and everything because it works just fine and plop it onto there. I would like to get this engine running though. I mean, the simplest thing would be, of course, pull out the piston, check the rings and see, or at least do a compression. Well, I did a compression test and it was low compression, but that was with the bad head gasket. So I really wonder. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if the oiling system, if it's blowing air out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my assistant to give me a hand pulling it over, and I'll keep my hand over the oil plug, or at least over the oil dipstick, and we'll see if it's building compression inside the crankcase. So let me just get you up on a tripod and we'll try that out. One of the things I did say completely jokingly was I was gonna take this cover off and then I was gonna remove the pull recoil completely and just use this as a drill start mower. I mean, what the heck? We can get it started with the drill, but then it just sits there belching oil and smoke all over the place. I mean, good for getting rid of mosquitoes, but I might as well just get a 2-stroke at that point. But anyway, let's try this out and see what's exactly is going on. Oil dipstick out. Hopefully that's the issue, that it's just screwy rings. I have a feeling that's what it is. Let's do a little bit of diagnostic work before we completely totally condemn this engine. Okay, so let's see if it's going to do exactly what we think it's going to do. All right, you want to give it a pull over?
Do you want me to?
Just pull her over. Let's pull the spark plug off so it doesn't start up. But
Okay.
not like it would, but let's see if this is pressurizing. Oh yeah, keep going. Yeah, it's pressurizing the crankcase. I can feel it.
Let me take a feel of this. Oh yeah.
Feel that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's 100%. The rings are done. The rings are done.
Yep.
That's so unfortunate. That really is unfortunate. Darn it. I was really hoping that it would be something a little bit easier, but yeah, I think we've nailed it. So, engine's not condemned. Rings are done. So I guess if I service the rings, but to get rid of this mower, I guess I'll change the engine, and then we'll keep this engine for now, and over the winter, I'll do a little bit of servicing on it. But yeah, look at that. I'm temporarily using a Canon Rebel T5i right here, and honestly, I kind of like it. Ooh, I can zoom on the fly, and it's perfect. Oh boy. Right. Anyway, guys, I guess we figure out what the issue is. Now, moving forward, I guess we'll just swap the engine for simplicity and save this one for, I guess, an engine rebuild. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
How dare you!